Hello YouTube, it's Si here from Simoto Photo. Welcome back to the channel, and if you're new, welcome. I hope I'll earn your subscription with this review today. Today we're going to take out the Tiger 900 GT. Last week I took out the Rally Pro, and I'll leave a link in the description at the end of this video that will take you to that video if you want to see how I got on and what my thoughts were on the 900 Rally Pro. But today we're going to take this one out for a ride. We're going to do a bit of roading and a bit of off-road, and then I'll take you all over the bike and show you all the different features that the bike has. And the differences between this and the GT Pro version. So come on along for the ride and let's see what this bike's all about. Right, so I've been on the bike for a good 20 minutes, half an hour now, and it's really nice to ride, as you would expect. For those of you that's seen the Tiger 900 Rally review last week, and I'll leave a link to that in the description, and also at the end of this video for anyone that wants to catch that video. But my initial impressions when I got on that bike were that I felt that the seat was quite hard. I didn't see it as a big problem because, you know, sometimes a harder seat can be a blessing over long journeys, but I don't know if it's just me, but immediately when I sat in this bike I felt that the seat was a bit more compliant. It's probably just me, but I just feel it's a wee bit softer. But it's still on the firm side, but it just feels a wee bit softer. There is a comfort option available, and it's not expensive to upgrade, and it gets you, a plusher seat for anyone that wants a plusher seat. As I said before, it is a bit firmer, but I don't think it's a problem. It's actually fine. But this bike it's about 40mm lower in height. So almost 2 inches lower in height than the Rally Pro. So I've had to put the seat in the up position on this bike. That would put the seat at 840mm, the seat height 840mm, and that gives me plenty of room. I've actually got a bend in my leg with my feet flat on the ground with this bike, so it's really quite an accessible bike for all heights, I would say. You can add the heated seat as well to the bike as the comfort seat, so you can get yourself a really nice comfortable setup on this bike. We're running today on a set of Metzeler Tourance tyres, and we've got a 19-inch at the front and we've got a 17-inch at the rear, and they're just a dream. The roads are a little bit drier than last week, so I'm able to sort of try and see a little bit more what grip they offer, and they do. They're actually really grippy on the road, and they're not noisy in the slightest, and anybody that's watched any of my reviews in the past will know I hate a noisy tyre. It just does my head in. But this bike again is running with the T-Plane Triple setup, the new T-Plane Triple setup from Triumph. This bike's delivering about 94 horsepower and 87 newton meters of torque, and oh my, it's just lovely. It's just a lovely bike. You can feel so much mechanical grip from the back tyre on the bike. It's just lovely. It just grips and grips and grips. And one of the reservations that I had jumping from a 1200 onto one of these was, how's it going to be for power? And I have to say, it's just not lacking power. It's got more than enough power than anybody would need for the road. It's anything 80 horsepower up is more than you need, and it's just because of the way that this engine delivers its power. It's such a grunty, low down grunty engine with a new T-Plane configuration that it's got the power where you need it and where you want it in that low and mid range. It's so peachy on the road. It's lovely. This is the GT model, as I said, and the GT it's running about £1,700 less expensive. You guys can work that out in dollars and Australian dollars, whatever that is, but it's 1,700 Great British pounds less expensive than the GT Pro model. And the question you've got to ask yourself is, would you miss the additional kit that comes with a GT Pro? So, without reading off our spec sheet, the stuff that you're going to be missing out on is you've got another couple of riding modes with the GT Pro. You've got a centre stand with the GT Pro. You've got a quick shifter that's up and down changes. The GT Pro version comes with an electronic rear suspension unit on it as well, so a semi-active suspension on it, and it comes ready out the box with Bluetooth configuration. So but the thing is, these things can all be added to the GT later on. The way they do things at Triumph, they send the bikes to the retailers, and they get sent fairly standard bikes, and any of the kit that gets added to them is added at the dealerships. So you know, you can, if you're working to a little bit of a budget, this bike is great value for money, and anything that you feel that you would like to add can always be done later on. It can always be done later on. And I tell you what, this bike handles absolutely beautifully. It just, as I said on the 900 Rally review, it's just the perfect size and weight for a road bike. It bites into corners when you're leant over. It's easy to throw from side to side. It's not intimidating in the slightest. And I just think you would have a real pleasure in ownership having one of these bikes. Now I've got to say, I do feel that this is sharper to turn than the Rally Pro, but in saying that, it was a horrible day when I took the Rally Pro out and the roads were not particularly grippy. Let's say it was a cold, damp, wet, horrible road that I was riding on, and it was just not fun. But it gave me a good feel for the bike, and it let me sort of understand what the bike was like. But this is just really nice. This is really really impressive bike. It's very, very windy today, and I don't feel as if I'm getting blown about all over the place either. I've got to tell you, the brakes on this bike are absolutely phenomenal. They are so much feel through the brake lever. You feel as if you're in absolute control. One finger braking with them, and it's just hauling you straight up. It's Stylema calipers that's on the bike, and honestly, they are so good. You know, on little roads like this, you can feel those Metzeler tyres. You know, really, this is it's wet. The road's wet. The grip's not great. There's like stones lying about all over the road. But these tyres, they grip really, really well. It's such a good tyre to stick on the bike if you're doing, you know, a little bit of everything. I'm really impressed with these Metzeler tyres. They're fantastic. I think I'm going to have to give them a wee shot. I've always been a Michelin guy, and I think that these tyres are definitely worth a go next time round. But you know what, I went on about this the last time with the 900 Rally Pro, and again, if you've not seen that review, check it out, and give me your feedback on it at the end if you think, you know, if you agree with anything or disagree with anything even. But you know, these 800 bikes, or 850 and 900 bikes, they just seem to be hitting a really, you know, the sweet spot in terms of you know, power, handling, manageability, manoeuvrability. They just seem to be a really, really sensible bike to buy for the road, and they're not in the slightest bit intimidating. It's such a pleasure to ride them, it really is. And it's, you know, if you've got a big adventure bike and you are finding that it's a bit of a handful, you know, I challenge you to come and give one of these bikes a go. I don't think you'll be disappointed with the capability, the power, the handling of these bikes. They really are quite something. And as I said before, at the shop, we get people, every second person that comes into the shop is asking us about Tiger 900s, Tiger 900s, and I keep saying to myself, what is it about these bikes? It's so good. You know, I've ridden this bike before, but I've not ridden it any distance. I've only maybe ridden it for about 10 miles or so. But today I've done a fair few miles in the bike, and it's been a real privilege to ride it. It's been a real eye-opener for me, and it's definitely something that would be on my radar if I was looking to change my bike. But the Tiger 900 GT Pro, what a bike, what a bike. Well, Murray, we'll pull over, and what we'll do is we'll go over the various specs and things that the bike's got, and I'll point out the differences between this and perhaps what you might be missing out on if you take this over a GT Pro. Let's take a walk around the bike and see what features this bike actually comes with. So the bike is fitted with Brembo Stylema calipers. These calipers are the creme de la creme of brakes, and riding around the roads today and off-road, they're absolutely superb. They haul you up, they've got great feel, and you just feel in total control with that braking package that comes as standard with this bike. The bike's also got Marzocchi upside down adjustable forks, and you adjust them at the top using it's like little finger dials. You don't have to get screwdrivers and things out. They're really quite easy to change and adjust to suit you. The bike's got the Masterpiece T-Plane triple cylinder Triumph engine, and I've waxed lyrical about this engine. I just love it. I love the feel it gives. I love how punchy it is, low down and grunty it is. It's got 94 horsepower, and it's just an absolute dream to ride. You've got an adjustable rear suspension preload that is hand adjustable at the side of the bike, so it's really easy to adjust. And you've got a really slim profile exhaust, meaning when you put your luggage racks and stuff on the bike, it ain't sticking out the bike a mile like some other bikes on the market. It just gives the bike quite a narrow profile and makes it that bit easier to manoeuvre and handle. The bike's also got cruise control as standard. It's got heated grips as standard. You can add heated seats to the bike. It's got backlit buttons as well as cruise control. It's lovely, and I keep going on about these backlit buttons. I don't know why all manufacturers don't fit them, but they really do make a difference at night time when you're out and you can see where all your controls are. You've also got a set of handguards on the bike just to take the sting out the cold air if you're out in the winter or the colder months. And the seat is adjustable, two height adjustable. It's 840 or 820 millimetres. As I said earlier, I've got this bike in the 840 millimetre height setting today, so the higher setting, and even then I've still got a bend in my leg. But I'm 6 foot tall and I've got a 32-inch trouser leg. As always, I'm quick to call out the fact that a 21-inch wheel on the road doesn't turn as fast as a 19-inch wheel, and that's only stating the obvious, but it's only fair to take the 19-inch wheel that's on this GT and just do a little bit of light off-roading on it and see what it's like, and see if you can do it, see if it's manageable, if it's going to give you any problems if you try it. And so far it's not. So I've put the bike's at an off-road setting in it that you can change. You need to have the bike stationary to put it into the off-road setting, whereas in all the other settings you can actually change the mode on the fly. You select the mode you want, you close the throttle, and it changes the mode if you want to do it whilst you're moving. But on the off-road mode, it doesn't do that. You've got to stop the bike, and as soon as you turn the engine off in the bike, it defaults back into the road mode. So just so that you're aware of that. But it's handling this no problem at all. Absolutely eating it up. The suspension on it's really nice, although it's optimised for the road. It's it's your typical adventure bike suspension, so it's got a little bit more travel than a standard suspension bike would have, like just like a sport tourer or something like that, and it just gives you that wee bit more give for rolling over boulders and rocks and all that kind of stuff. But this is it's munching this up no problem. And again, with the T-Plane triple crankshaft engine, I've got really good mechanical grip at the back, and when you stick it into the off-road throttle, the off-road mode within the dash, it optimises your throttle your throttle map, so it's a lot more gentle, just to give you less jerkiness as you're bumping up and down over bumps and rocks and stuff like that, with your wrists sort of jumping about. So it's just a lot smoother the way it brings on the power, and a lot easier to manage. Now, but off the back of last week's review as well with the Rally Pro, it's just, I can't get over how nice it is having such a narrow waist on this bike. It makes it so easy to manoeuvre if you do take the bike off-road. I've got a big 1200, and sometimes it can be a bit of a handful especially if you get yourself into anything a wee bit more taxing than this kind of stuff, you know, you can find yourself really starting to panic, because what you've got underneath you is just a huge amount of weight, but you just don't get that with this. It just carries its weight lovely, and the narrow waist just makes it a joy to throw around bends and stuff. So for anyone that's concerned about, you know, if you bought the GT Pro, could you have a wee go at some off-road stuff, fire trails and forestry roads and, you know, Green Lane and stuff? Absolutely you can. Absolutely you can. It's really capable. It's just that when you go and you upgrade yourself to the rally model, it's maybe, if you've got in mind to go that bit more serious with your off-road stuff, it just, with a big 21-inch wheel that's on that, it just gives you a little bit better rollover on boulders and stuff, and with the spoked wheels that it has, it just gives the wheels a little more flex if they hit anything really hard. But for some light off-roading and some road work, it's a no-brainer. The GT and the GT Pro models are absolutely great value for money, and this one being the GT, not the GT Pro, yeah, you're foregoing some electronic stuff, but do you need it? I don't know. I don't know. It's you know, some say it's just getting out of hand with all the technology that's on bikes now, and there's a lot to be said for having one that's a wee bit more stripped back. Not that we get much issues in terms of reliability at Triumph. The bikes were blessed by the manufacturer in that they're turning out some really high quality bikes, and we don't tend to get much grief with them. But in later years, you know, the less technology that's on the bike, I suppose the less chance you've got of stuff going wrong, so there is a lot to be said for it. Anyway, let's head out here and we'll catch you up and we'll do a little sort of summary of how this went today, and I'll give you my thoughts on the Tiger 900 GT. So the Tiger 900 GT on a wet and miserable windy day here in Scotland. How's it been? It's been brilliant. I've loved it. It's been a great bike to ride. I'm loving this narrow profile seat. As I say, when I first sat in this bike, I thought the seat was that little bit more plush than the Rally. It's probably in my head. Tell me in the comments if you think that. But I did find it a little bit softer, but you can add a comfort seat to it as well if you find it's a wee bit hard. But it's just a lovely bike to ride. It's got a great amount of power for the road. It's super manageable off-road. And the GT, although it's £1,700 less expensive than the GT Pro, I don't think you miss a lot of the kit that's not coming with it. And again, if you want to add it, you can add it at a later time. But listen, thanks a lot for tuning into the video today. Please, if you've liked the video, give it a like, and you know, let me know your thoughts, or let me know what bikes you would like me to ride in the next review in the comment section. And you know, give us a subscribe. I'm trying to get as much Triumph content to you guys as I possibly can. I want to get to a point where I've got just about every bike in the range uploaded onto the channel to give you guys the opportunity to go and see what that bike's actually like to ride. But thanks again for tuning in, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Over and out.